Today on the American Truck Podcast. City Skylines' next DLC is out. HTC shows off their next standalone VR headset. There are now third-party Switch controller options. And tons of Destiny 2 information has been released. Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
And Freelance Gamer. I almost stuttered that one because I thought yep, no good doctor.
No good doctor.
No good doctor.
Not to be
Where's
confused with the no good doctor.
Oh, yeah, it's true. The arch nemesis, of course, the good Dr. Ubershadow.
That's correct.
Mm.
Commas. Commas save lives.
They do. Let's eat. But thankfully, we are not a English grammar podcast because we all know that at least I would fail at that horribly, horribly.
Fact. We are definitely not that. And I am thankful that we are not that either. The good quality game that is supposed to be Des2ny is coming to PC, of course. Apparently it is going to be launching after the console version. Of course, they have no dates for any of this stuff yet. Which
Is everything, including the console release, isn't the console release still soon TM?
I believe so. I don't think there's a date for any of the Des2ny release yet. And that's why it's, like, we don't know exactly how far after the console release it's coming out.
Right.
Just that it's going to be after it.
We do know 2017. That much we have at least well and full on the books.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
I'm trying to find out, and I'm going to say this is the devil right now. I'm looking at our show notes on Google Docs, and so I highlighted Des2ny. Mind you, I'm sitting on my bed. I don't have a keyboard. I go to edit or right-click, and copy's available, and then Google Docs tells me that you can't copy and paste the Google Docs!
That's correct. You can't. You have to use the keyboard. Why don't you just click on one of the 15 links that are in the Des2ny section?
No, I can now. I got it. I'm going that route now. But why would it be available in edit and not grid? I hate them.
I don't know. But yeah, so Freelance will interject with that information if he does find it. But meanwhile, I will continue to roll on through here. One of the very surprising things that was not expected whatsoever, this is going to be released on PC exclusively through Battle.net. Not Steam, not Origin.
I thought that was an April Fool's joke.
Nope. It is coming out exclusively through Battle.net, and it turns out there is a reason for that. And
Blizzard Activision.
Well, yes, it is an Activision game, which is co-owned with Activision Blizzard. But one thing, of course, when they announced this, they specifically said that it was coming to Battle.net. They did not use the new name of Blizzard Launcher or Blizzard App, and they said they used it deliberately so that way it would be clear what platform they were talking about, and don't get used to it because the name is not coming back. It was a one-time thing to explain this. Likewise, we should not expect any other games to come to Battle.net. This is likewise a one-time type thing. They don't expect to happen again. It could, but very, very unlikely. Now, the reason for it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. What they had said was by Blizzard letting Bungie use Battle.net as their launcher and their game management system, it meant that Bungie didn't need to actually devote any time or resources to managing that system and creating some kind of multiplayer connection system and multiplayer chat systems and all that stuff. They could focus instead just on making the game not suck on PC. And so they said this took a lot of the weight off of the Bungie staff by letting them use a existing known good multiplayer management system that already was owned by Blizzard and Activision.
So it comes down to it's an engineering thing, really, is the kicker.
Yep, pretty much.
I wish they kept the Battle.net name, but whatever.
I agree.
I can get behind that. I think it'll be interesting to go through and have all these well-known Blizzard titles that are all kind of in universe with one another, and then just Destiny.
By the way, the expected release for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is September 8th, 2017. That is their initial release that they're leading with, but it may get delayed from that.
All right.
You know, there's no such thing as a hard set, but yeah.
I'll say safely Christmas. Like it will be one of those things that you will be able to buy a Christmas bundle for.
And another thing, it's Microsoft Windows only. So if you got your BattleNets on your nice little Macs, go away.
Also good to know then.
Or boot into Windows, because that's just how that works.
Fair, but good to know for all those who are interested in playing this. So a little bit about other things about the game. It's going to be have 4K support, at least on the PC. And I'm not sure about the others because this was mainly talking about PC stuff when I was looking at it. And it is also going to be uncapped frame rate. I do know that it was supposed to be 30 frames per second on the consoles, and it was going to be an unlocked, uncapped 60 frames per second on the PC.
Peasantry. Peasantry.
Correct.
Hey,
Peasantry,
Master Race, calm down there in the back.
But it is still uncapped though, so it's not limited anyway. If your computer can do more than 60, it'll do more than 60. And it's going to have
it gives it some scalability at that point also, because then as newer cards come out and as your Titan XPs and things like that become more mainstream.
Exactly.
You know, it'll give it some staying power.
And of course you will need, 1080 Ti's if you want to play at 4K because of all of the shinies that come with that. But they did say that this should be a playable game for people with other system requirements. They weren't willing to talk about system requirements just yet, but they did say it won't be terrible. At least that's not their plan. It is going to have an adjustable field of view, and it will have support for 21:9 ratio monitors, which is a unique thing.
All those curved displays. All those really wonderful curved display people. Yep. All 6 of you.
Exactly.
I'm loving it right now. I'm on my side. I'm just making people aware. I'm on my side. Oh well.
Now, not every 21:9 display is curved, though. Just saying.
True. But what this is saying is most curved displays are 21:9.
Correct.
Which is something that's really unique, just because the curved display hasn't really gotten a whole lot of love, and so the fact that there's native built-in unmodded support that is designed so that all of the UI looks like it should and doesn't have this weird stretchy effect to it is just it's a thoughtful touch that somebody thought to go into the display driver settings and tweak it so that there was a profile specifically for 21:9 and curved monitor people.
Right. Which is
it's thoughtful.
It's inclusive. Make
really
sure
is,
everyone is part of the party.
Well, and because those guys who are going out and buying the really nice 21:9 curved monitors are typically your people that are going to also be cranking this thing at 4K and just ripping at it with frames. It's going to be great.
That is very true. Probably what is one of the biggest sticking points and complaints that most people have voiced about this. They did confirm that there is absolutely no plans for dedicated servers for Des2ny. It is going to be peer-to-peer, just like Destiny 1 was, and that is not changing, and they don't plan on changing it.
This is an interesting point to me because it's making me wonder, because a dedicated server, as we all know, for things like game traffic and for longevity in game traffic, is expensive. Like, cost prohibitively expensive for a lot of people, even somebody like Blizzard Activision. And if they're doing, like, there's a lot of, like, really, like, standardized cost-cutting tricks that we're seeing right now, going through a known good platform that doesn't require hiring deployment and build engineers, having a peer-to-peer system like that. It almost makes me wonder, like, do they hope that this is going to work? Is the hope that this is actually going to do its thing, or are they just making a sequel for the sake of sequeling?
I think they're doing a lot of this stuff because they'd rather focus on the core points of the game, which would be the gameplay and the story.
I really hope so, because that would be my big thing. Is if this is like the game of the year, if this becomes like my #1 pick of the year, I would be over the moon and look at it and say, I am so thankful that they did all of these cost-cutting things because it meant that the game was so much better.
Yeah, I feel
want that.
For me, Bungie's. I still like Bungie as a studio. I don't feel they've fully lost it yet. I think they're still a very good studio and they do some great work, but I don't know. It could be that. It could also just be that, you know, Destiny itself. Was the original Destiny supposed to have a month-to-month? Is that something I remember?
There might have been talks, but I don't think it was. It
I don't
never
think it ever went
surfaced.
through, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of learning that they like maybe shot a little too far with Destiny 1 early on. Like as expansions came out, the game got better and better, and there was good endgame content. But early on, they kind of shot a little. They shot a little too far with certain things. So I'm curious if they tried to be more like down to earth. Like, okay, look, let's focus on these things. To hell with the rest of it.
Because we know there's a core group of people that are going to pick up this game and they're going to love it so deeply and so passionately.
If it was coming out immediately on PC, I might have been one of those people, but I'm going to wait until the consoles come out with it, and then I'm going to listen to what they say.
Most definitely. It's one of those things where I know people that are like, yeah, I have my PS4 from Destiny 1 and I'm going to get it for Destiny 2, and I'm like, sweet, you go, Glen Coco. I am going to get it on my nice PC and then run it through my Steam Link because that works.
Yep.
I was assuming that for some reason, you know, if the game's good still.
This is true.
If your friend's like, no, this is garbage. Don't.
Right. Well, then I'm not gonna waste my $60. But
very good. Very good. Just we're making sure we're clear on that one.
Of course.
But one thing that is very unique about the fact that this will be available on Battle.net, if you remember, a few months ago they allowed you to convert currency from one game to another, specifically through WoW tokens. You could take you could take in-game gold and sell them for WoW tokens, and you could then take and exchange your WoW tokens in Battle.net for money towards other titles that are available in Battle.net.
Hearthstone packs, stuff of that nature.
Yeah,
like real dollars.
Like real dollars, tangible goods type stuff, which means this announcement that Des2ny was going to use Battle.net caused a massive surge in WoW token prices, because that meant that you would be able to buy Destiny 2 with WoW tokens and WoW gold.
Oh wow,
you got 1.5 million gold in WoW. There you go.
You could convert that over, and you could either completely pay for Destiny or at least offset some of the costs just from your time spent in WoW. If you're a hardcore, high-time player of WoW where you spend so much time that you have way more gold than you know what to do with, and you maybe are making some kind of minor income off of it this way, you can buy a game that you would not be able to otherwise do that with because it's on Battle.net.
That's clever.
It actually caused WoW tokens to hit their all-time high, the highest they've ever been. It was something absurd, like 150,000 gold whatevers. I don't totally remember how WoW tokens pricing works, but it was high. It did look like it was a short spike. It did kind of drop back down because while it's true you can convert your stuff over now, you still can't buy the game anytime soon. So I'm sure we'll see it go back. Yeah, we'll see it go up again, I'm sure, later, but for now it hasn't.
Well, the smart man will hang out and wait for the price to go back down again before selling and getting his WoW tokens.
This is true.
So hopefully we'll see the economy stabilize. But it's interesting to see just sort of how much World of Warcraft's economy parallels our own. I know there's been several research studies about how much the World of Warcraft economy sort of piggybacks off of our economy, and what if we manipulate certain variables in the World of Warcraft economy, how those variables play out with long-reaching effects.
Right, of course. But moving right along here, a couple more bits here. City Skylines, we talked about the mass transit DLC, which is going to add all kinds of things like cable cars and monorails and this and that and all this transit-y goodness. And well, that is officially out. That's going to cost you $12.99 if you want to pick it up right now. Probably they'll go on sale during the Steam Summer Sale, which will be coming soon, of course. And you'll be able to get a little better price on that probably. Usually, you know, it's probably not going to be more than like 5-10% off, but it is good to know that the price will go down someday. So if you are super into City Skylines, you'll be able to pick that up. Now, something I saw that was quite interesting here. There's a company called 8bidoo or BitDo, depending on how you feel like pronouncing it. I'm going to call it 8bidoo.
8-bidet.
There it is. I was going with 8-bit dough, like Nintendo.
Hmm.
I
like yours better, but
I like the creativity that's in yours.
I committed to mine, so
there you go.
Bidet.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
8-bidet.
So the 8-bit dough, the company.
Yes, they have a line of classic controllers that are, you know, modeled after the NES, SNES, and whatnot, and they've updated all of their controllers to have support for the Switch, which means if you already own one of these controllers or are looking for an alternative to buying the really expensive Joy-Cons or the really expensive Pro controller, you could pick one of these up. They're only $35 to $44, depending on whether you get the standard or the Pro version of the controllers. And it would give you a solid possibility for using your Switch.
I'm curious if Nintendo's going to tell them stop, or they're going to stop and make it so that their product no longer works on the Switch. I have a feeling that's coming.
Maybe yes, maybe no. And we'll see how popular they are. I know the company 8bidoo is selling on Massdrop right now. So for those who want to maybe see if they can get it on a group buy, if anything, it's just a really nice controller. Like it sort of is this retro futuristic take on the classic controller that everyone knows and loves. So I mean, Switch compatibility aside, that's just more of a Bluetooth thing, but it is a fantastic looking piece of machinery. So definitely worth a look-see if you are at all interested over on Massdrop.
Indeed. And then one last thing, which I know that Jefferson B is all over. The HTC Vive is working on some kind of wireless standalone VR headset. There's not a whole lot of information available yet, other than the fact that it will use WorldSense, which allows for precise movement and tracking, and that it will require absolutely no phone, no PC, nothing like that. Jefferson B, what can you tell us?
Well, okay, so we right now I thought we had plateaued with VR. This is one of those things where I was totally expecting, you know, maybe we got to get a good game library is going to happen, something's going to build. We'll wait and maybe like next year at CES somebody will talk about some stuff. Intel had some stuff they were going to release through Lenovo. Lenovo, of course, being one of HTC's big partners in this whole endeavor, along with Google to sort of create this Daydream experience. So Daydream, of course, being Google's I guess second take, if you will, at Cardboard. Lenovo and HTC both sort of have taken this and they've run with it. They're making their own standalone VR concepts, which are hopefully coming out soon. TM. And I mean, with Vive, you have just the amazing control scheme that they bring to the table, in addition to like all of their experience, their entire game library, and the way that they're reaching out to developers. And so that to me is just super exciting, because the one thing with Daydream is it's, as it stands right now with Google, it's like this cloth piece and there's like a remote that's with it and you like hand wash it when it gets all sweaty and gross. It's a little weird, I'll be honest, but the fact that HTC, who's just an expert right now in VR, especially with all of their tracking systems and everything that they're coming up with for the PC versions of VR, and Lenovo, who's just been manufacturing amazing computer pieces. I think of like the Yoga Book and the Zen Book and all of their really great hardware knowledge from just a build quality perspective. This is going to be just a really awesome portable. This is, I compared it earlier to the tablet of VR, sort of being that halfway point between the mobile device and the full-blown computer. So yeah, we hopefully are going to expect something about this later this year is what I'm hoping for. At the very least, tech specs, and then we'll probably see something released around CES 2018. That's my predictions, at least right now, just because something like this is going to take a lot of work, but hopefully sooner, because I am always a fan of sooner rather than later. My hope also is that we get some type of that WorldSense, which is just more or less a sensor system. It's just a sensor tracking system. Hopefully that will also be able to do room scale. So then we'll be able to play all of our awesome HTC Vive titles. We'll be able to bring those over to this new Daydream system and be able to kind of essentially walk about with a wireless battery-powered VR system. So coming soon to a head near you, or at least a head near this guy. It's going to be awesome.
The lack of need for a PC or a phone on this is the part that I'm actually interested in. Primarily because I expect it to not only be really cool in the fact that it should actually work because it can sleek everything down probably, but also it'll be interesting to see the actual price point.
Yeah, my hope is that something like this will be able to hook up. Like this will be more than just a glorified mobile phone shoved in a box, but that I'll be able to hook this up to my PC. That I'll be able to do more with it than you would normally think that people should be able to do with a VR headset. And I hope the price is, if the price is at the right point, if we get all of these things that just sort of fit, then I think we will have a very huge success in our hands. Where VR is then going to be something that, and Google I/O is this week for those of you who do not know. And one of the key talks right now, and I've yet to go back and watch it, but one of their key talks they've been doing right now is a lot of VR. A lot of VR. The ability to cast what you're seeing on your VR screen to a Chromecast or Chromecast-enabled device. To be able to show off to your friends what you're actually seeing while you're spinning around in the middle of the living room is just super awesome. The ability to be more interactive with the world and to be able to have more immersive experiences. And hopefully the developers will catch on and the SDK will just be super intuitive, because that's what's going to really bridge that gap between people that are developing right now for VR and people that would develop for VR if it was easier to do that. So I'm really excited. I really want this to be kind of part of that hackery, makery scene in more ways than one. And I'm super excited. I love every kind of VR news, and I'm glad to see that VR is not yet dead, nor is it reserved for only the bourgeois of the tech world.
Well, there you go. Got quite an in-depth look at something that we know nothing about. So it's pretty good. Pretty good job there. But that is all we have for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the American Truck Podcast as Wet Patootie tries to plow right through me. If you like this video, make sure you hit the comment button down below and just fill in whatever you want. Just fill it in with stuff and goodness. Maybe also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next one.